Dear students, welcome to online classes. How are you? I hope you all are well. I am also well. Now, today I am discuss from your English 2. Our today's topic is voyage. Voyage stage. We know that there are two kinds of voyages, active and passive. Now we are going to know how to change active voyage into passive. If we want to active to passive, we have to follow some rules. Here are the rules. Notice that object of the active will be subject in the passive. First, object of the active will be subject in the passive. Then we have to use an auxiliary verb according to the tense. Number 2, using an auxiliary verb according to the tense. Then we have to make the first participle form of the given verb. First participle of the given verb. We have to transform the verbs into past participle. Then we have to use a preposition. Preposition like by, to, we have to use a preposition like by. In many cases by is used, some cases to can be used. Then at last, subject of the active will be object in the passive. Here are the basic rules of changing voyage active to passive. You notice that first, object of the active will be subject in the passive. Then we use an auxiliary verb according to the tense and also according to the subject. Then we use first participle form of the given verbs. Then we use in a preposition like by or to. At last, subject of the active will be object in the passive voice. Now, we we are going to change some active voice into passive. Asima draws a picture. The sentence is in the active mode. If you want to turn into passive mode, at first we have used the object of the active as a subject. That means a picture. Object of the active, passive in the subject in the passive. Then we have to use an auxiliary verb or operator according to the tense. The verb is draws. The form of the verb is present form and the sentence is present indefinite tense. If the sentence is present indefinite, we can use am, is or are in the passive mode. So we use an auxiliary verb. A picture is the singular subject. So we accept a singular verb. That means each. Number 2, each. Then what will we do now? Yes. Then now we use the first participle form of the verbs. What is the first participle of the verb? Draw. First participle of the draw is draw. Can you see the first participle of the form, the verbs of draw? Draw is the first participle of draw. The picture is draw. Now we use a preposition verb. At last we use object of the active as a subject. Subject of the active as a object in the passive. We use object as a subject. Then we use an auxiliary verb according to the tense. Then we use first participle form of the given verbs. Then we use an article verb. At last we use subject as an object. In this way we can change active to passive. If the sentence is assertive sentence, we can change active to passive in this way. But sometimes we find two objectives in an active voice. Suppose Tina gives me a nice gift. Can you tell how many objects are there? Yes, there are two objects. One is direct object and another is indirect object. Now, in this situation, we can use any of the object as a subject. can use any of the object as a subject. Then we can use an auxiliary verb according to the tense. The verb is here in the present form and it takes an S. So the tense must be present indefinite tense. So we can use an auxiliary verb like have, is or are. When I get is, then you can use the past participle form of the verbs even. Then we can use the remaining object. Yeah. Sometimes, yeah, two used to be seen. Sometimes two is used to be seen, but you can use to or not. And as gift is given me by me. Another example. She gives me a good advice. Here are also two objectives. So you can use any of the objects as a subject. To do that, we use a good advice. Now we are going to use an auxiliary verb, but the verb is in the first form. Can you see the verb in the first form? If the verb is first form, according to the rules, you can use was or were. And the sentence is past indefinite tense. If the sentence is past indefinite tense, that means if the verb is first form, you can use was or were as an auxiliary verb. So a good advice was. A good advice, uncountable noun. That means an uncountable noun always be singular. Always be singular. So a good advice was given. What is the first participle form of that? Yes, given. A good advice was given me. Another object is, remaining object is, we can use that. Then we can use an preposition. At last, we can use subject as a now, look that preposition to is used instead of by. Sometimes we can use to as a preposition in the passive voice instead of by. Look at an example. He knows me very well. What is the object of the sentence? Me is the object. So you can use me as a subject. If we make the me as a subject, it will turn into I. Then we use an auxiliary verb according to the tense. Another part is present form, that means the sentence is present indefinite tense. So we should use am is or are. So I. Then we in the first particle form of the parts no, and we can use to instead of by. Subject of the object, subject and then object, and then we can use very well. We can change the voice in other way. Suppose not very well to him. It is an adverb. It is an adverb. You can use adverb two ways. Before the after the verb and before the verb. But in the basic voice, here we can also use the very well adverb as after the object or before preposition. Notice that we use to instead of by as a preposition. Now, we are going to solve some another problems. The sentence says to you present continuous tense, but actually it is not true. Going to and who is going to is like model auxiliary verb. So if you want to turn into passive voice, you can use a man is going to be opened by. Yes, students, I hope that you can understand. No more today. Thank you. Thank you all.